Hey, welcome back to Cobb's Cube. We're really glad to have you with us today. We're going to do something really fun. This is something I tried years ago and I failed. So it took a couple months and I tried it again and I failed again. So I put it away for a couple years. And then finally one day, talking to somebody at work, they said, "Man, you need to use a tray and put it on your Traeger." I'm sorry, I know you're an egg guy, but you need to put it on your Traeger. So I tried it. And bingo, it worked. So today we're doing pork belly burnt ends on the Traeger, and they're going to sit in their own fat as they cook. And oh, these things are phenomenal. So get ready. We're going to go outside. Let's get this going. Okay, now that we're outside, what we want to do is go ahead and take our pork belly. Now, just to look at the pork belly, when I went to Costco, the first thing I did was try to look at a pork belly that was as square and even as possible. So across this direction here, you notice I failed here. It's got a little curve to it. So what I'm probably going to do is just take a knife and trim this off, and I'll discard this because when I cut this up, it's going to be more even this way. It's going to help throughout the cook. The other thing I've done is I've left this in the fridge the entire time up to the point we're getting ready to cook it. And the reason is it's cold. Just, close your eyes for a moment. Think about taking bacon and cutting a slice of bacon right out of the fridge. And now take that bacon, leave it on the counter for, say, an hour. And then that same set of bacon, try to pull it apart, and you'll notice it's just all gooey and kind of sticky. It's the fat that's rendered, and it makes it really difficult. So if you leave this cold just prior to the cut, it's so much easier to do. So let's go ahead and cut this out. Set that aside. Again, this looks pretty good here. It's pretty even, except for this area here. So I'm just going to take the dowel strong and make a cut right down this to make it even. And we'll set that aside. And now we're pretty decent. So what I want to do is I want to make 1-inch chunks. So I'm going to come down about 1 inch here. I'm going to come all the way down the belly. Separate this. I'm going to do one more. Move this aside for just a moment. And then what we want to do is take our bellies, turn them cornerwise, and now we're going to make 1-inch cuts the other way. So basically we end up with 1-inch cubes. Try to keep them as even as possible so they cook evenly. So when trimming these, another thing that kind of helps to make sure that you're even, just take these, put a little score mark every so often up and down the belly. Get an idea where that is, and just take a look and look if each one of these is fairly even. If it is, go ahead and cut it. If not, just go ahead and make a new line. That way you can make sure that the entire thing of belly is even up and down before you cut it. All right, now that I've got all the pork belly cut up, I'm going to go ahead and put a rub on them. I'm a huge believer in Meat Church rubs, and today one of the ones I've used before is the Honey Hog barbecue. It's really excellent rub. I think Matt Pittman calls it his OG, but this is also bacon. This is where bacon comes from. So I'm going to add the honey bacon barbecue to this as well. It just adds a little bit of extra flavor. We're going to go ahead and cover these entirely, and then we're going to put them on a tray. Now, when I put them on a tray, I'm going to put them on a tray fat side up. And my personal opinion, what I have found when I make these, and I make these with fat side down that sits in the rendered fat, the meat side that is up just becomes hard. It doesn't become soft like I'd like. I'd like these bites to be like candy. And it doesn't do it for me. So what I like to do is go ahead and put fat side up and let the meat sit in the rendered fat, and that keeps it soft throughout the cook, and I just find it's a better bite. So, you know, play with it how you'd like, but that's a tip that I've started doing, and it seems to work really well. So I will always put fat side up when I cook these on the Traeger. Okay, so I've never found a really good way to get all of them completely covered. So it's just easier for me to pick each one up. And when I set it back on the cutting board, set it fat side up. That way I know it's ready to go. All right, as I get a few of these squared away, I'm going to go ahead and put them on the tray as well. Set these aside so we can kind of see what we're doing. I like to leave a little bit of space in between each belly, just to make sure they render, they're not touching. They're going to shrink up a little bit as they cook, but at the same time, I find they just cook better. They get more smoke on them when they are separated. Okay, now that we've finished getting the pork bellies ready, we're going to go ahead and light the Traeger. And the reason I like the Traeger after is I want to give this time to kind of like sweat into the meat. And while the Traeger is coming up to temperature, it just allows all that flavor to get pulled into the pork bellies. So let's go ahead and we're going to start the Traeger, and we'll come back to this when it's ready to roll. We're going to smoke at 250 degrees today for roughly 3.5 hours. We'll probe tender to see where they're at. And then once we get them to where we really want them, we're going to go ahead and put some special sauce, some barbecue sauce, and we're going to put them back in. But we'll get to that later. All right, our pit is at 253. So what we're going to do is go ahead and open her up and fit both of these sets of bellies. Looks like we're only going to get one on top and one on bottom, which works. I prefer them to be on top, but you can't have everything. And while I lit the Traeger, I also lit an additional smoker tube. So we're going to put that in here. We're running with cherry today. And of course, it's me, so it's lumberjack cherry. We're going to come back and check these at least in about 3 hours. Okay, 3.5 hours have passed. We're going to take a look at these. I have moved the bottom to the top to the bottom. We just want to see if these are probe tender. Oh, it's butter. Yeah, they're ready. All right, so let's go ahead and pull these off. Then we're going to go sauce them. Okay, now that we've got the pork bellies off, we're going to go ahead and separate them into two separate pans. There's too many in a single pan. Into this, I'm going to go ahead and take some Kansas City competition barbecue sauce. I find this barbecue sauce works very well. It's also locally resourced over at Ace Hardware, so it's easy. I'm going to go ahead and just pour this over the top of all of them. And then we're going to take some Cosmos barbecue glaze. It's called Cherry Apple Habanero, which is going to really work well with these. And I'm just going to pour a little bit in here, and we'll incorporate that in as we mix it together. It's going to be a little bit less than 2 to 1. It's more about to just get that flavor and the glaze on top of them. Now we just simply mix it up, work it in, get them gooey, and we're going to put them back onto the Traeger for about 30 minutes. They smell good enough to eat right now. And we'll go put these back on the Traeger. Okay, let's put these back on the Traeger for 30 minutes and put them up on the top rack. Move our smoker tube right to the middle, and we'll be back in 30 minutes and we'll be ready to serve. All right, it's been 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and pull these off, see how they look. Oh, yeah, those look phenomenal. Those are going to taste fantastic. All right, the pork bellies are off. Let's go ahead and set a couple out. I'm going to be fairly quick today because these are actually going to go to some friends. So we're going to taste test a couple of these, and then we're going to wrap them all back up, and get them over to their house. They look phenomenal. Okay, we're gonna let these cool for a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and put something over the top of the others. Again, make sure they're nice and warm for them. And we'll see how we did in just a few minutes. All right, it's been a few minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and try a piece or two. See how this came out. Still pretty hot. It has such an amazing flavor. Oh. It just melts in your mouth. The fat had rendered so well. And just the flavors of the sauce with that habanero type drizzle over the top of that. This is phenomenal. Yeah, this is a winner. So it was a little difficult today because I was a one-man show because my son got his OA ordeal this weekend. And if you know, you know. And if you don't, that's okay. So I did the best we could to try to get both cameras going and just to enjoy doing pork bellies on the Traeger. I hope you'll take a moment. I hope you'll like. I hope you'll subscribe. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come join us, and really appreciate you supporting the channel. We hit over 100 subscribers last week, and this has just been a dream for my son and I to come out here and do this. We appreciate your support and your patronage. Now, I need to close this down and go get these to some friends. Have a wonderful day.